So in the previous episode, we talked about one client that improved their traffic by over 8,000%. They also improved their conversion rate by 272%, almost 300% increase in conversion rate. That's compound growth. That can happen when you're applying the right principles in behavioral science and review science. When you combine review science with behavioral science and SEO with CRO, you can truly get compound growth.
Hi, everyone. I'm Scott Brandley.
And I'm DJ Sprague.
Welcome to the Ecommerce Traffic and Conversion Podcast.
Today, we're going to talk about some of the knowledge gaps that exist in the e-commerce space and how we're going to help fill those and bring some insights and strategies to the table so that you can understand how to better drive revenue, traffic, conversions, and improve your e-commerce website's performance. We're going to start out with behavioral science. So Scott, why don't you lead us out on behavioral science and how this is kind of one of the big knowledge gaps that we have seen in the industry?
Sure. So one of the things that we talked about in the first episode was that there's different silos, especially when it comes to e-commerce. And one of those silos that we found over time, just working with a lot of different e-commerce clients, is that they don't know a lot about behavioral design, behavioral psychology, or what we call behavioral science. So it comes in different flavors and different names, right? But basically, what do consumers think, or in order to make a decision, what's their thought process, and how can you influence that thought process to get more people to buy, right? Ethically, of course.
What drives behavior?
Right. And so for those of you that have never heard of this book, Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion by Dr. Robert Cialdini, this is like the Bible of behavioral science for marketers and for e-commerce. The original version came out in 1984, and it changed the game. And it's just gotten more and more validated over time. Right, DJ?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. He's the godfather of behavioral science.
Yep. Godfather of behavioral science. He is amazing. He's actually a good friend of ours. And, you know, the principles in his book, he has seven key things that he talks about that influence decision-making. And so they're reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, liking, authority, scarcity, and unity. And each one of those topics is fascinating in its own right. And several of them apply to e-commerce. And so if you can understand the concepts behind behavioral science, you can have a significant impact on your business.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if you take a meta study of 6,700 different A/B split test experiments on e-commerce websites, they found that there are three that consistently move the needle. One of them is scarcity, urgency, and social proof. Social proof by way of ratings and reviews. So those three principles consistently off of 6,700 different scientific experiments move the needle in terms of improving conversion rate. So fundamentally, these three principles out of the seven always work. They always help drive higher conversion rates. And looking at these studies, again, we just became enamored with it. Another resource that we'd like to call out is Online Influence, a great book by Boss Waters and yours, Grown. This is a fantastic book that really delves into the 37 different behavioral science principles as applied to e-commerce websites. So Scott and I got so excited about these principles that we ended up taking the course offered by Online Influence Institute, and we got certified in behavioral design through the Online Influence Institute, which then led us to the Cialdini Institute, where we got certified in the practical applications of behavioral science, and certified coaches as well.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about that in our next episode, which is a really cool story, how that all happened. But yeah, behavioral science is a fascinating world that we've really, really immersed ourselves in, because even in our industry, like, what you don't know, you don't know. And intuitively, we did a lot of things in behavioral science that we didn't know that's what we were necessarily doing at the time. But now that we understand the concepts, we've been able to like light a fire under it and really help our clients to just take their conversion rates to the next level. So it's really exciting. And we're going to, part of this podcast series, we're going to teach you some of those things along the way that are just going to blow your mind.
Yeah. Lots of principles, strategies, applications, tools, etc., all revolving around the proven principles of behavioral science. The next one is a term we actually coined called review science. What we figured out is that a lot of people are collecting reviews, but they're not doing it scientifically. They're not syndicating those reviews. They're not displaying those reviews. They're not leveraging those reviews. They might be collecting product reviews, but not seller, which are also known as merchant reviews. Or they might be collecting seller ratings, but not product reviews. Most are not collecting video reviews. And so we decided to really look at this as a scientific approach to social proof. How to collect reviews, where to display reviews, how to optimize reviews, how to syndicate reviews so that they're seen in the right search results. Because using one of Dr. Cialdini's principles, which is persuasion, we realized that persuasion in the online environment actually happens in the search results. So based on where your search results appear and how and where your review stars appear in those search results are critical to driving trust in the search results, which then drive clicks and traffic. And then how those reviews are displayed and where they're displayed on your website, homepage, category pages, product pages, and really leveraging every touch point throughout that buyer journey, or we call the conversion path. So in our world, the conversion path, which we'll get to, is critical to optimizing the entire buyer journey.
Yeah, part of the review science process, we call in our office, we call it being on an island. And basically what that means is most e-commerce websites, they collect reviews and put them on their website, but there's no strategy behind it as far as getting those reviews out for the world to see in as many places as you possibly can. Like, you want a freeway coming to your island, right? You want multiple freeways coming to your island. And the way you do that is by syndicating and getting your reviews out. There's so many strategies that you can use in the review space that can really just take advantage of those reviews that you do collect. And there's multiple different types of reviews. So, just becoming acquainted with that industry and the knowledge there can be hugely beneficial.
It's so big, in fact, the idea of review science, that we literally wrote a book about it, and we'll be talking about that in future episodes as well. But we wrote Reputation King because, again, there's this huge knowledge gap in understanding how reviews work, how to collect them, the right type of reviews, the right type of review platform, how to syndicate those reviews to your maximum benefit, that there really is a science behind it that people don't understand. So we literally wrote an entire book on the subject, and that's coming out. We also realized that with behavioral science and conversion rate, that there's this knowledge gap between SEO and CRO. We realized that our tools and social proof and the behavioral design principles, or behavioral science principles, drive both SEO and CRO. And that's another deep dive conversation and knowledge gap that we're going to be getting into, exploring and peeling back the curtain and exposing how those two principles work together.
Yeah. Another knowledge gap is, like you mentioned, DJ, this idea of the conversion path, right? And we call it the conversion path from search to checkout, because if you know how to leverage ratings and reviews and user generated content, and and get it out into as many places as you possibly can, ultimately what you can do is ethically control search. I don't know how else to say it. But when you're a good company and you let Google know that through different strategies, you can actually get in front of consumers when they're doing their initial search, when they're doing their research, and ultimately influence them to the point where they'll actually click on your site because you're the authority in the space. It's very clear as they're going through their search experience that you're the authority.
Yeah.
And so the authorities get the clicks. So what happens is you get more clicks, you get more traffic, just like that example you gave in the last episode, right? Where they got an 8,000% increase in traffic. It's because they were becoming the authority in that space. Well, you get this traffic, you get the clicks, and then once they're on the website, if you create a consistent experience, so what they saw online is consistent with the experience that they have on your website, then you can lead them strategically down this path on your website, on this conversion path to get to checkout.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful thing, as you can, if you see the beginning to the end, and you realize you can actually impact almost every step along the way.
Exactly. In our analogy on the conversion path is a chain, and everybody's heard the term, the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Well, the conversion path is full of links. And if you have a weak link in that chain, then obviously people are going to bounce. This is why most websites don't convert beyond 2%, because there's several weak links along that path. And people bounce from the homepage because they don't see trust, authority, credibility. They don't know what you do. They don't know what your value prop is. Your navigation sucks. Your UX sucks. They don't know why they're there or how you're going to help them. Or they get to a category page and you've got 52 different products in a category. They don't know where to start. Or you've got too many categories. So you've got analysis paralysis. So your category page is overwhelming. They don't know where to start. They don't know, if you can really truly solve their problem. And then, of course, the product page, they don't see product reviews. They don't see trust signals. They don't see answers to their questions. They don't see website security. So they bounce. Those are all chains in the link, all parts of that conversion path. We're going to unpack all of that. We're going to expose all of that and dig deep into that. The other part of it is, and this is one of my favorite, is compound growth. So we're going to expose the knowledge gap around compound growth. So in our book, Reputation King, we talk about the fact that you can double your business if you double your traffic. And that's what a lot of people obviously are trying to do. If we can just get more traffic, we can get more revenue. And that's true, provided, of course, it's the right traffic. If it's traffic that's just looking for high level information, but it's not commercial intent traffic, it's not, traffic looking for specific solutions or products, then they may not purchase. But in general, doubling your traffic does improve your business. The other part of it is, well, what if we doubled our conversion rate? And yeah, absolutely. If you double your conversion rate, you're going to double your revenue. But what if we could compound that? What if we could double your traffic and double your conversion rate? So in the previous episode, we talked about one client that improved their traffic by over 8,000%. They also improved their conversion rate by 272%, almost 300% increase in conversion rate. That's compound growth, because now they've got a lot more traffic and a lot more conversions at the same time. Mm-hmm. And that's absolutely an amazing story, but it's not unusual. That can happen when you're applying the right principles in behavioral science and review science. When you combine review science with behavioral science and SEO with CRO, you can truly get compound growth.
Amen. I love it. It's so exciting to do what we do every day because we get to see it. And the hard part that we have is actually being able to tell people what we do and have them understand it, which is one of the reasons why we do this podcast. It's why we wrote the book, right? We're trying to get more information out there into the hands of e-commerce business owners so that they can use this information, and because it's so helpful. I mean, even if you don't use our services, you can still benefit from the information that we share. And, we just want to help e-commerce business owners be more successful. So
we want to create a community.
Yeah.
Community of experts, resources, stories, case studies, etc., so that you can use those to grow your business and become the next, dominant player in your industry. Next episode, we're going to be talking about our behavioral design journey and how that worked and how that came about. And again, kind of how we got here in this CRO SEO space to help brands create compound growth in traffic and conversions. So look forward to seeing you there.
Yep. See you on the next one.